Most investors think they're buying deep value, but a lot of cheap stocks are actually value traps. They look statistically cheap, the story sounds reasonable, and then you watch them drop another 20 or 30%. In this video, I'll walk through 3 ugly, very unpopular stocks I'm buying for 2026, and I'll explain why I'm still willing to put my own capital into them, despite all the discomfort. This is not financial advice. It's simply my process for dealing with hated, uncomfortable ideas in deep value investing. If you're new here, you're watching Victor Value. I document my deep value investing journey, why I buy, not what you should buy. All right, let's start with the first ugly stock. Maurel Prom. Maurel Prom is a French oil and gas producer with assets in Africa and Latin America. Most investors ignore it, not because the business is broken, but because the story feels uncomfortable. You have geopolitical risk, commodity cycles, and a sector that is deeply out of favor. It's not fashionable, it's not exciting, and it's certainly not something people like to talk about. Yet behind the noise, the company keeps operating, generating cash, and simplifying its asset base. Recently, 2 events changed the picture. First, Maurel Prom sold its stake in Seplat in Nigeria. The deal brings in over 400 million euros, roughly 2 euros per share. Short term, the price was fair. Long term, you could argue the reserves were sold cheaply. But the real question is not the sale itself. It's what Maurel does with that cash. The second event is political. Venezuela. After years of paralysis, the new leadership has adopted a far more pragmatic tone, including signals of willingness to cooperate with the United States. If that cooperation continues, Maurel could regain access to its Venezuelan licenses, unlocking assets that were effectively frozen. And here is where the asymmetry appears. Between the Seplat cash and receivables owed by PDVSA, Maurel holds close to 5 euros per share in cash and claims. That alone covers almost the entire current market capitalization. At today's price, the market is assuming that very little goes right. I don't need perfection. If oil prices are merely reasonable, if assets are gradually unlocked, or if expectations shift from very pessimistic to just less pessimistic, the upside can be meaningful. But this only works if you accept the other side. You must be prepared for 20 to 30% drawdowns. That is normal in deep value investing, especially in cyclical sectors. This is not for everyone, but for patient investors focused on probabilities, not predictions, Maurel Prom offers a rare risk-reward imbalance. Next, let's talk about Serica Energy. Serica is a UK North Sea oil and gas producer operating fields like Bruce, Keith, and Rome. Once again, we're in a part of the market that has fallen out of favor. Political risk, taxation concerns, and a general dislike of hydrocarbons have pushed many investors away. The interesting part is that even under conservative assumptions for oil and gas prices, the business still throws off cash. My thesis here is simple. Upside doesn't require a perfect world. It requires survival, some stability, and time. The risks are clear: commodity prices, operational issues, and UK tax policy. This is not a low-risk bond proxy. So for me, it becomes a question of position sizing. I want exposure to that pessimism, but if I'm wrong, I don't want it to damage the overall portfolio. That brings us to portfolio construction in deep value investing. Diversification matters across countries, across sectors, and across different types of risk. A typical deep value portfolio might hold around 15 to 20 names. At the moment of purchase, I don't want any single new position to be more than about 5 to 6% of the portfolio. That way, when I'm wrong, and I will be wrong sometimes, the damage is contained. On the other side, I let winners grow as long as two things remain true. The company is still undervalued, and my original thesis has not broken. Deep value is not about falling in love with a ticker. It's about owning re-rating potential and moving on once value is realized or fundamentals deteriorate. Sometimes that means sitting on your hands for a while and resisting the urge to do something just for the sake of activity. Finally, the third ugly stock is EDvantage Group. It's a Chinese education company, cheap, cash generative, and honestly, very misunderstood. Just the words China and education are enough to scare most investors away. I've done a full video on EDvantage where I go more deep through. I don't want to repeat that whole things here, or this video becomes too long. So if you want to see exactly how I think through a single deep value idea, click the video in the top right or the link in the description for the full EDvantage breakdown. So what connects these three names? They're all priced for pessimism. They require patience, and they demand the emotional ability to sit through significant drawdowns without panicking out. This is not about making perfect predictions. It's about having a process, buying where the narrative is ugly, while the cash flows and assets still make sense. Which of these ugly stocks would you actually consider holding through that kind of discomfort? And more importantly, are you mentally ready for the challenge of deep value investing? Let me know in the comments. If you want to go deeper into the process, click on the EDvantage deep dive on screen now. Thanks for watching and for being willing to look at the ugly stuff most people ignore.